everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka, and we are back with another. So today's been a bit of a watershed moment in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. For some reason that it's just feels real good. But as a result, there's been a lot of talk recently about prices. So I want to talk a little bit about some of Yu-Gi-Oh's most expensive cards. With the exception of right now, where some staples are reaching over $100, what is the most money you've ever spent on a single Yu-Gi-Oh card, and was it worth it? I'm starting with this one, Kozmo Dark Destroyer, and for those of you who don't know what I'm referencing, up here at the top of the tweet, there was a rule at the time at YCS's that the sale of an individual card could not exceed $99 USD. Kozmo Dark Destroyer was a secret rare that retailed for about $120 to $150. So the plan was to find it at a YCS at $99 and get a sick discount. Very few cards have hit that cap since, and I think the cap itself has been removed, but the payoff was the 4th best deck in the format, so I'm going to go ahead and say no, it was not worth. Let's see what you all came up with. I bought it at 80, so I think it was definitely worth it. And blocked. Missed! Oh my god, we have a good player in this time? €300 on 2 beautiful ulti Veilers I still have to this day. Still play them at events so long as it's double sleeved. Honestly, high rarity, Euro print, ulti staples, one of the very few things I think it's defensible to spend money on. Pretty pieces of cardboard. Inner Crescent says, my girlfriend wanted to play Crystal Beast because she really liked Jesse Johann in GX. At a regional, I bought her a ghost rare Rainbow Dragon for $150. She never finished the deck. Many years later, we separated, but I have the card preserved in its top loader. She gave it back! Wait, or did she break up with you before you gave it to her? Either way, you plussed. This is a huge plus, baby. Recently, I bought a set of Ulti Thrusts for 200 Australian each because Australia didn't have OTS 22 at the time. Took so long to arrive that we got OTS 22. Bought a set of Ulti Construct for 250 AU from the UK, sold 2, now 1 is on display. Okay, this doesn't track for me because I don't know how much an Australian dollar is. What's the ratio of like kangaroos to McDonald's burgers? Came out a few weeks before I graduated from high school. My dad asked me what I wanted as a graduation present, and I said I wanted 2 Dracosacs. They were $150 to $200 at the time, but it cost me 4 years of public school. And he hasn't stopped playing dog shit 2013 decks since. Being an OCG means I don't exactly count for this thread. Oh, brother! But for me, it was needing 1 to 3 copies of number 89. It vanished in my area. I had to buy them from Japan instead, making it more expensive. And then Fenrir died. Dustin is amazing. They are, I believe, the only person who sheds tears for Cash Tira. Bought an Astral Utopia with my first paycheck for around $550 USD. Was it worth it in the long run? Absolutely not. It's worth much less now, but in the moment, completing my number collection with the one thing I was missing made me the happiest of the duelist gals. At the PPG event at Otakon like a year and a half ago that Gage and I commentated, I took my pay in cards because I was like, oh, I'll throw him a bone. I know times are tough because of COVID. Instead of demanding cash, I'll just do a 1-for-1 for a Utopia. For those of you counting at home, this means, yes, I sold a day's work for like $60 at this point. Farfa says, oh, look, a new powerful generic extra deck staple that I probably should get. Nah, 60 pounds is too expensive. I'll let it stabilize. Surely it won't get short printed or suddenly... Oh, looks like I'm paying $85 for this one, YCS weekend, $120. I spent $35 on Underworld Goddess when it first came out. That actually is a pretty good price, and that's because when Underworld Goddess first came out, everyone was playing that stupid fucking Yada-locked combo that made the unkillable Crooked Cook. $35 was a small price to pay to not have to deal with that shit. Hands down, the 70 bones I dropped on this Zeus with my stimmy has been worth every penny. You're the reason why those fuckers got on TV and said, poor people aren't buying food with their stimulus check, they're buying frivolities. I don't usually buy expensive decks, but I got a playset of Foxy Tune at about $20 each to play Gold Pride Punk. Then they announced the reprint in Monstrous Revenge a week and a half later, and now I can't even play it because my logo literally closed down. In 2008, I was a child with no money. This guy would buy everything and borrow me whatever card I needed when traveling to regionals. He bought 3 Dad on release for me to use. $900. I need better friends. Bought the full deck on release date. Pensorks were $100 to $120 at the time. Deck was dead a month later due to the adjusted list. No, it was not fucking worth it. Okay, whose fault is it that you bought into Pepe? I guess we'd like never had an adjusted list before. I bought it for $220 at Philly. I've played Lab every week for the last 9 months. Worth every penny. You won't pay with money. You'll pay with your sanity and your money. This will be $220 US. As a Dino player, this was worth getting a playset for when Wild Survivors came out. It was around 90 to 100 per copy, if I remember. It has gone down since, but I was afraid I was going to get sold out and it'd be hard to find. You bought the CR of Soul Eating Oviraptor? 3 First Ed Pot of Desires at 80 apiece, which I've put in many of my decks, competitive and casual, for the past 7 years. Another card that commanded an $80 price point at release that unfortunately has kind of stood the test of time. If you bought these for 80 at the time of release, you have probably gotten about $240 worth of action out of them. I spent £35 on this the day before the BLMR opening started. Immediately regretted my decision upon watching the openings. I never even ended up playing Lab more than once at locals. Genuinely the worst purchase of my life. Love that last sentence. I bought almost every meta-relevant card that crossed 100, but I do regret shelling out $120 each for 2 of these over COVID. So much money spent just to play at a non-OTS locals once a week and never get to use them in an event before a reprint. Exact same experience. I think I paid $75 for mine. I spent $120 a piece on Engage. What? Was Engage ever $120 a piece? Oh my god. My local card shop had 2 Infip in stock for $70 a pop. I got both plus a Boral Sword Dragon for $20. The version I got is still running about $35, but the fact that it's under $10 now still stings. I bought Infips at cap. At I think the 250th in Chicago, the 200th YCS in Chicago. I got a fucking half decade of use out of these bad boys. $230 total. I wish I could go back and throttle past me. I got a German friend to purchase them for me and send them to me. That was the only way I could afford them. Pre-ordered 3 of these from Ghost when it was announced at $45 a piece, thinking it was a steal because the secret from Dawn was $70 at the time. Yeah, it was crazy, by the way, that this was printed in Dawn of Majesty and was just like an $80 secret for an extended period of time, despite the deck being ass. €20 super due to short print. They're not even good. If you go back and look at the prices of cards from this set, I believe it's the Pegasus Legendary Duelist set, atrocious shit. Grabbed a playset of this when it was $90, about $270 total. I have to admit, I haven't actually used the playset, but I adore Tier, so it was well worth the purchase. Great way of thinking about it. You know what's frustrating? Tier was generally pretty inexpensive, with one little exception. The Apollosa costed me $12. Not so expensive, but living in Brazil means I'm not going to eat the next day. Huh? Folks, capitalism is a failure. We are not directing our resources towards the right people. 52 a copy on this when it came out. Whoops. Yeah. 52 a copy. $108. When I got married, I planned to give my groomsmen Starlight Rares as thank you gifts, except it took me 3 tries to buy a Chi-Shao for the last groomsman. That's funny. Dropping $350 on this card in 08 didn't feel worth it as much as it felt like I had to, unless any deck I played with dark monsters in it was suboptimal. Also, that's $350 in 2008 money, which is about $500 today. With Paper Play returning, I bit the bullet and bought Droplet at 90, considering how much I played with this card from March 2021 to October 2022. It was worth it. And now I can play the card again with the Rise Heart finally gone. Droplet's one of those cards where, like, it was an insane amount of money, but it was so good for so long. Bought 2 for €100 at release, and I don't regret it. I bought 3 at 70, and I regret it every day. I haven't even taken Generator to an event. $240 on a playset of Thanos Dragon when I first got back in. Someone at locals convinced me to max rarity Sky Striker and said it was worth the trade. I priced it out when I got home. It was $50 for the whole deck he traded me. But you're laughing now because this card is one of the most overpriced pieces of shit in existence. Well, as we settle into another insanely expensive time in Yu-Gi-Oh!, I urge you all to maybe just play online for a couple of weeks. That's what I'll be doing at twitch.tv/MVTYugiOh. I remember before Zoo came out in 2017, I paid $80 for one of these bad boys. I was 16 and very much unemployed at the time. Looking back, I don't know how I did it. You can say you sold drugs. I sold drugs for this guy. I didn't do that. I was just sucking dick. None of this is going in. Let me run this whole bit back.